Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lock On Podcast, episode number 12. I'm your host, Kyle Hooper. We got the panel back again this week for what should be a fun episode. Not a ton of hard-hitting news, so we thought we'd come up with a little bit of a exercise where we kind of look towards the future since it's still fairly early in the year. We got Tim, Avery, Sean. Tim, start with you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing all right. It's a good day. Hitman 3 came out. Very excited about that. Haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I'm so excited.
Now, you've been talking about this game pretty much since it's been announced. I think you've at least mentioned it once on every episode you've done since it was announced.
I'm so excited. I love this trilogy so much. I love that I'm going to have all the maps in one game. Mm-hmm. That's a super cool feature. So, yeah, it's going to satiate my hunger fine.
Yeah, I figured that, especially that's such a good deal. As soon as I heard that, that's an amazing deal. You don't usually see that in games. Are you looked at reviews yet, or you been kind of stay off?
I've peeked a little. I know it's extremely positive.
Yep.
For the few criticisms I've allowed myself to see are criticisms I was expecting. The fact that it doesn't change much over the last two games, that, the tech may feel slightly aged to some people, but I kind of knew that going in because the software was designed to be a platform for several years.
Yeah.
So, this is probably better described.
It's setting up an ecosystem.
Yeah, it's like this is better described as like the third level dump than it is a proper sequel, which is fine by me.
Well, I'm excited for you to get your hands on it so you can let us know what you like about it. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Sean, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I got the Demon Souls Platinum.
That is impressive. That is impressive.
I was very happy. I tried to celebrate with my dogs. They just looked at me like I was crazy. Because they were like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I did it." And they're just like, "Just feed us."
So does the PS5 still make the same trophy noise?
No, they have new noises for all the trophy pops and stuff like that. Okay. I'm not I hear a lot of people they were like when they were first circulating the trophies on PS5, people were complaining. I'm like, this is one of the things I just don't care about. Just give me just make sure the trophy pops.
Yeah.
And the sync, it doesn't take there on the PS4 and definitely on PS3, there was like this delay in syncing, but it happens like instantaneously now. You can
that's good.
Trophies.
Yeah.
Your trophy list and stuff like that. But it did make me realize that I want the PS5 to add some kind of sorting feature so you can sort the games by how much you've completed of them.
Yeah.
Or by how many, bunch them up by the trophies. Like I have 23 platinums and one of them I got in 2011. So I have to 2012 was when I got the Skyrim trophy platinum. So I had to you have to go all the way down to because sometimes I need a reminder because I'm like, I don't remember which ones I got trophies for. Some of them are fresh. Some of them are I had to go back and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I did get the one for sleeping dogs. You know what I mean? So you have to go all the way back. I just want to be able to sort them.
Yeah, the Xbox has actually done a really good job of that as of late. They've with the achievement tracker, you can sort your achievements by locked, unlocked, highest completion rate. It's pretty cool. So I'm hoping they do something like that because I know a lot of you should be able to sort them in whatever way you want to make it easier for yourself.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it by the game, like in the individual game, but not like group all the trophies. Like I want to see all my 23 platinums be the first.
Yeah, the top. Yeah,
on my list. Yeah.
Mm. And last but not
game I played.
Yeah, and last but not least, Avery, how you doing, man?
Doing all right. Hanging out. Just kind of playing some odds and ends around here. Finished through Final Fantasy 15 last week. Finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider today. Started Batman Arkham Asylum per your guys' recommendations.
Yeah.
It's funny to play that because I see a lot of the systems that were obviously just evolved in Arkham Knight and seeing the basics of them, like the detective mode and him doing the basic stuff of just fighting and everything. And because when I played Arkham Knight, that was the first one I played, and so seeing where kind of everything originated is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that God, that combat system is so satisfying. It's
Oh,
still
yeah.
one of my favorites. Like, just
So-
you start
so
off and you
good.
kind of get a hang of it, and by the end of it, if you're going for like the 50 point, I don't know what it's called, the 50 times where you don't get hit, where you're punching everybody, and you just slap it. You get up to 20, you're slapping everybody around. They fly like 10, 20 feet back. It's so satisfying.
Oh yeah.
But that's good to hear.
Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. I'm probably I don't plan on getting Hitman, but I mean it's getting a lot of reviews, great reviews. So maybe we'll see. We'll see if I come into another.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I have never really played Hitman too much.
You guys are crazy. Those games are so good.
I know. Yeah, I think it has more to do with the stealth genre because I played Splinter Cells, but I think that's about it. Like, I haven't really played any other stealthy type games. I always wanted to get around to playing Metal Gear because I'd never played Metal Gear before, and I know that's like blasphemy.
No,
But-
I mean, here's the thing though. I'm a huge stealth genre fan. I love stealth games. Like, but Metal Gear is probably the hardest one to get into because whereas Hitman, the story is very ancillary and it's more about the playground and how the different ways you can go about getting your target. Splinter Cell the games are linear. And again, the story's there, but it's not the focus of the game. It's just more or less like, here's this Tom Clancy-esque bullshit to get you into the level so that you can get your way through the level. And they're like little mini puzzles, you know what I mean, to kind of get through the level and using the stealth to your advantage. Whereas Metal Gear, it's like really story heavy on top of everything. So if I were going to recommend somebody to get into a stealth game that like if they had a clean slate, like I would say do Hitman or Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
I recommend, I prefer the Splinter Cell series to Hitman, but I think Hitman, because of the variety of all the ways you can do things. Like I was watching someone today, they added banana peels to the game. So I was watching somebody like throw banana peels down and the guys were coming after him, and they would slip on a banana peel and get knocked out. And it's like, it's a more goofy kind of playground kind of thing. Like in Hitman 2, you could dress up like a mascot of at a race and like go to areas where the mascot which would be allowed to go.
Pink flamingo.
Yeah, so you're just dressed. Yeah, it's like real goofy kind of thing.
Okay.
But I do think they have the most. It's the most fun variety, like kind of ways. Like in Hitman 2, I can't remember. You'll remember better than me, Kyle, because I haven't played them in a while. But there was one where you're in Italy and you can hide in a dumpster and poison somebody, not like kill them, but like poison them so they throw up and they're throwing up over the ledge. And then you get out of the dumpster and you kick them off the edge of the cliff and they die that way. So it's just like a lot of different variety and goofy stuff like that. So that would be the one I would recommend first, even though I prefer Splinter Cell just because it's got more of it's Splinter Cell's way harder. Like Splinter, especially the early ones where if you got spotted, your mission was failed.
Yeah. I kind of, it was weird. It was always Splinter Cell and Ninja Gaiden that were the two games that I would enjoy for like a good 5-6 hours. And then I'd get to a part of it where I just could not be. And I'm like, okay, no, this is
Really?
gotta go away. Yeah. I always felt like that.
Stealth is my absolute favorite genre.
Yeah.
Have you
I
played
love it so
Stealth
much.
Inc? Have you played?
I haven't.
Those are
I've-
really good games.
I've gotten close to buying it several times, and I haven't.
They're really good games. I highly recommend them if you like stealth
Okay.
games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, speaking of games that we might have not played, well, we definitely have not played any of these for the most part, but we thought we're going to have a shorter show today, but we thought our topic would be around looking towards the future and what we're all looking forward to the most in the next 3 years. Now, we know 2020, or that would be 2 years, I guess now. So we know 2023, 2024 is a little hazy and you don't know what's coming out. Essentially, what we're going to do for those is you can come up with something that might be announced or, is going to be a sequel that is going to get announced. We can include those, but we'll start with this year and we'll go with your most hyped up release. Avery, I'll start with you. What are you most excited for in 2021?
Got a lot of them. I think for the sake of this, I will say Ghostwire Tokyo as my number one spot. Coming from Tango Gameworks, I really loved Evil Within 1. Evil Within 2 was still fine. I didn't really like how open world became as opposed to just like the first one with the linear, go through, get your ass scared off.
I will say though, that is surprising because most people, from what I've seen, most people prefer 2.
I'm with Avery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
100%.
because it's more? I played about halfway through it. I forget why I stopped. But is it because it's more of a linear story? Is that what you kind of like about it?
Yeah, that and just like the setting of it, because like the first one, it was like you were basically confined in like that hospital or and just being in that environment and like the close quarters of it all. It kind of increased that scare level versus like the second one. I mean, it's again more open, just a lot of traveling back and forth. A lot of doubling back and everything. And so it seemed really tedious and kind of empty. And not to mention like a lot of the boss fights that weren't as memorable as the first one, which is like, I mean, later in the game, you'll get rewarded. But yeah, so liking those 2 games, I'm excited about Ghostwire Tokyo to see how that shapes up to be.
Yeah, I think the problem for me with Evil Within 2 was that it was more action oriented than the first game. The first game also had there was a ton of gameplay variety in that game, like where I felt like you weren't doing a lot of the same things twice, but you were in Evil Within 2. And I think by design they wanted to make it less. The first one's way more quote unquote hardcore.
Yeah.
Like a survival horror game, where the second one was a little more forgiving. It's still hard, but it's a lot more forgiving than the first one. So I came away. I'm with Avery 100%. I definitely preferred the Evil Within 2. Evil Within 1 to Evil Within 2.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I enjoyed Evil Within 1 for what I played. It kind of reminded me more of a Resident Evil, I guess.
It's a straight up Resident Evil 4 clone.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Yep. No, I enjoyed it too. But I'll move over to you, Sean. I think this one's fairly obvious for you, but why don't you go ahead and tell everybody for the 10th time?
It's Elden Ring. If you're just, it's until that game comes out, it's going to be Elden Ring. I am a From Software fanatic. If they like I usually don't get excited just on a game announcement, because I like to see gameplay. But From is one of the few developers where I'm like, okay, I don't care what it is. I know it's going to be awesome. Because the thing is, they have established what their wheelhouse is. Yeah. And I know it's going to be in that wheelhouse, and that wheelhouse is right up my alley. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know what the fuck it's going to be, but I know it's probably going to be a challenging game that's going to make a bunch of game media cry about not having easy mode. And I'm 100% into it. Like, I want that. That's the experience I want. So I'm really looking forward to Elden Ring. That I will say, I'm just going to cheat a little bit and say, besides that, as a game that I know is coming out this year that has a date, I'm going to say Kena Bridge of Spirits. Well, it doesn't have a date, but it's coming out soon.
2 month and a half. Well, if they hit their March date.
I don't think it's going to hit March, but because we would have heard that by now if it was going to hit March. But
I think it's going to get pushed to closer to when The Last of Us 2 came out last year. So like June.
Yeah. So that's the one besides Elden Ring, the one that's more tangible, for lack of a better word. Is Kena.
Nope, that makes sense. It looks gorgeous. The art style that they used for it is beautiful. Tim, your game's out, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, technically my most anticipated game of the year is out. So I'll say something else. I'm honestly a little split. Because I kind of have 2 things that I'm about equally as anticipated for, depending on where the chips fall, I guess. It's either going to be Back for Blood or Halo Infinite.
Okay, you can take Back for Blood because
I'll take Back for Blood. I loved the Left 4 Dead games so much. I have such cool memories of those. I never even got to own one. My mom would have never let me, buy something that was that visibly graphic from the case. But man, I had so much fun with that at my friend Tim Mislinski's house. It was just an incredible experience, and I'm really excited that we're going to see something else like that. It's coming out so soon after they announced it, that that's always, that can either be a really great thing, like they wait until they're really confident in their product before they bring it to the public, or it can be a bad thing and that they're trying to rush it because they're almost out of money. So I'm not sure which it is, but man, if that connects and enough of my friends also buy it, I think that game could carry me for months.
I think it's a weird situation they're in, because I genuinely think, and I don't say this about many games, if at any games at all, I genuinely think that they need to just take Left 4 Dead 2, make it prettier, add some extra maps, add some extra modes, do what you got to do, but essentially make it the same game, because this is what people have been asking for, and they know that, and Valve doesn't want to do anything about it. So just essentially make close to the same game as Left 4 Dead 2, add some new features, and I think you've instantly got a hit on your hand.
Yeah,
I really think it's going to be I think it's going to hit big. I really do.
Yeah.
As long as they don't fuck it up with any kind of like last minute like
microtransactions.
Yeah, like
microtransactions.
Like a little game called Evolve.
Yeah, like as long as it doesn't seem like they're doing that. So I really think it's gonna be, and I really hope it is, because Turtle Rock is a great studio. I think Evolve was tragically sent to die based on their monetization.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Evolve's a really,
I never got a chance to play
game.
Evolve.
It's a really good game. It's really polished, really well done, a lot of fun.
I wanted to play that and I never did.
So
I got
good.
it on launch day, and my God, was it fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. It did feel like, I understand where a lot of people disliked Evolve, as there were a lot of times where just running around didn't feel rewarding and or fun. But when you got into those monster battles, or you're trying to track down the monster and you know it's close, that is some of the most or actually my favorite part is when you have to fall back and protect the generator or whatever you got to protect.
Yeah.
And the monster's at stage 3, so it's at its biggest and most deadly. And you just set up, and your just entire team, this huge jungle is just waiting. You're all looking in different directions, waiting for something massive to come and attack you. And it's such a good feeling.
The one thing, like to pull up on your point of running through and not really doing anything, that's one of the things I liked about the game, is that they gave you things to fight while you were hunting
the small animals and stuff.
So you still had other things to do and engage with and have combat with while you were looking for the monster, and then that worked to the monster's advantage sometimes, because you would be engaged and stuff. I really think Evolve was great, and I'm if Kino wasn't coming sooner, Back 4 Blood would be mine. I think that looks awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I guess you already kind of know mine. Take Tim's second choice there, be Halo Infinite. This isn't my most hyped up game for me just because it's Halo. This is a hype for me because, man, like Halo 4's campaign was great. Multiplayer was terrible. Halo 5's campaign was not good at all, but the multiplayer was great. And I just, like, all they need to do is hit both. That's all they need to do. And they need to get rid of the bullshit. And when they know that, the bullshit Warzone stupid cards, because that came out when everyone was doing cards, because Ultimate Team had hit big. So everyone felt like it was, okay, we got to have something where we can monetize weapons or some sort of thing in one game mode. And that's what they chose. And it was fun. But man, after a couple of weeks, when everyone had kind of saved up their cards and the Scorpion tanks, like within 5 minutes into the game, you got people using, and then they added all the variants of the weapons, and my God, it was just a shit show. And they didn't have big team battle, which is why a lot of people wanted to play that, because big team battle was always really fun. But
I think cards could work in a co-op game, but they suck in multiplayer.
Yeah. When it gives you a distinct advantage, even if it's only for a single life, it's just annoying, because you never really think that skill beat you. you think it was, okay, this guy saved up enough cards to get a weapon or get a vehicle. But I really like, man, as a Halo fan, I don't know how versed you are. Any of you guys are kind of in the lore, but even from the Halo 5 story, but man, I don't know how they're gonna have to pull some absolute wizardry to get themselves out of the mess they've done with the lore at the end, where Cortana's this evil bad person. I don't know why they decided to go that route, but
wasn't she corrupted? Wasn't she like corrupted, like as an AI?
Yeah, like she's corrupted. It just, you did such a good job on 4 giving Cortana, and it was a chance for you to really show Chief in a different light, because a lot of the times in the Halo games, especially the earlier Halo games, Chief was you were Chief, and Cortana was really the main character because Chief didn't talk. So that's who you kind of got a sense. So you got obviously emotionally connected, and then you had this amazing send off, and then out of nowhere, within one game, oh, I'm evil because I got corrupted. It never sat right with me. So I'm hoping they pull some wizardry, and they brought back a lot of ex-Bungie people like Joseph Staten, who led almost every single Halo story up to Reach.
I gotta tell you, Kyle, I really just think you got the multiplayer exactly backwards. I think Halo 4 was decent multiplayer. I uninstalled Halo 5 maybe 20 minutes after installing it. I could not believe
and you know what? Some people liked 4's multiplayer, but man, like my biggest problem with it was just a freaking ripoff of Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty to play Call of Duty.
5 was way more ripoff of Call of Duty.
No, I think you're remembering wrong. In Halo 4, there was a create a class system. There were perks.
Sure.
There were even kill streaks.
Sure.
Halo 5 was literally going back to the old school days of Halo 3 and Halo 2, where everyone starts with the same weapons. They're your power weapons, and it's an arena shooter. That's what Halo needs to be. It's an arena shooter. That's what it excels at.
Certainly, but I mean, like I guess maybe Halo 4 was more like Call of Duty and the features around the actual gameplay, but Halo 5. And I know because I finally downloaded and tried it because it looked terrible and I waited a long time. When I was playing Modern Warfare, the remake that came out a couple years ago, and it was like I was playing the same game. It was super weird. It was like trippy for me that it was like, this is like Call of Duty with super suits. But
hey,
I think, and also story wise, I think that they should have just left Master Chief floating in space and found a like maybe, I don't know, Master Chief's long lost son or something. I think it was a mistake to unfreeze him. I think they should have let his story be final and figure something else out.
Go ahead, John.
I just want to know if Avery, do you play any multiplayer games?
Yeah, on and off. Right now I've just been in a single player streak, but I do play for right now I play League of Legends sometimes. I want to maybe try Valorant again, but I was pretty ass. And then
don't worry, we all feel
Call
like
of Duty,
that.
Call of Duty and shit. But yeah, here and there.
Yeah.
Did you play Titanfall? Either of the Titanfalls?
No, I didn't. But I know how much people say how underrated that is.
2022, 2023 pick.
Dude, Titanfall was okay. So when I first got into multiplayer, the first multiplayer game I ever played was Rainbow Six Vegas because I got the Xbox 360 and I put a ton of time into that. And then we kind of all shifted to Call of Duty. And when I saw Modern Warfare for the first time, I was like, wow, and it was they had only showed like the campaign, right? So then fast forward to 2013 when they announced Titanfall for in 2013 for the Xbox One. There's so many numbers that I'm going to say. And it's just like, to me, I don't want to overstate this, but it was like life-changing almost. Like I was like, this is incredible. This looks like the best game. Like it made me like, I was like, I know I'm getting an Xbox One for this game.
Yeah.
And then like I bought when March came out, that's when I bought my Xbox One. I got it at launch for Titanfall. That game, the movement in that game, Avery, dude, it's like so perfect and brilliant.
Yeah.
You got the most of the core team from Infinity Ward making it, and then they just revolutionized movement in that game, like the wall running. and the way you can chain together walls and move through the map and stuff like that, it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. Highly recommend it.
Doesn't it just piss you off that EA just sent that franchise out to die?
100%. But Avery,
infuriating.
So you never played the campaign of Titanfall 2? Dude, next time that game's on sale, buy it. Dude, it's one of the best shooter campaigns I've ever played.
Do you have an Xbox like One or
I have
PC? Oh, you have a PC, obviously.
I have a PC and then I have a Series. I have a Xbox One S.
Oh yeah, dude. Just you have Game Pass?
I used to, and I just
it's on
Game, but
it's on Game Pass because EA Play. It's so good.
Get it.
Control is on Game Pass too.
Yeah,
so
it is.
About playing that too.
That's really good. They always call, like right now on PSN, Titanfall is like $5.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Or Titanfall 2 is on like $5.
Right.
Yeah. Dude, trust me. That campaign, if you like first-person shooter campaigns at all, that campaign is going to blow your mind.
Yeah, first or second one?
The second one. Yeah, there's no.
Okay. We got really off track, but I'm really happy. Anytime we talk about Titanfall, that's okay with me. Okay. But I want to move on. 2022. Obviously, a little hazy. I'll go back to Avery to start. Is there something I think this isn't the time where you you want to stay in the realm of realistic, but if there's something that may be announced, I think that's where you can push it in. Is there something that, a year down the line you want to see?
I'll say Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird because that game is supposed to be set in the Arkham universe. I wonder if they're going to try and tie like any of that into it, but I'm interested in that. I think the DC characters are pretty fun to play with on a video game scale, and I had a lot of fun like playing as the Avengers. I know like that game didn't have like a lot of content or repetitive content, but I liked playing as them. And then I obviously love Spider-Man and Miles, so I'm all down for more superhero games.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't really know how. It's so weird to think like Rocksteady not doing Batman.
Right.
So it'll be weird. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But no, I definitely agree. I think that'll be a hopefully a knockout of the park game for them because they seem.
I'm excited to see King Shark in something.
Yeah,
I like Rocksteady, but I'm not excited about that game at all.
No,
not after Avengers, and I'm just
true.
I just don't want any more. I just don't want any more fucking games of service. I just don't. Like I say this, and then I'll probably that game that's Ubisoft massive Star Wars games will probably be that, and I'll be excited because it's Star Wars. But I just feel like. I don't know, man. I just don't like when because I guarantee you this is what's going to happen. It's going to come out. It's going to be lacking content. The end game stuff is going to be boring or like not complete. It's just they never release in a state where it's like, oh fuck yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always like getting to the end game stuff might be fun or kind of fun, like Avengers, but then you get to the end game stuff and you're like. Man, and it's just like I also don't think a superhero game lends itself to it because of the gear. Like a military game like Vision or Destiny, I get it because you can get weapons or special powers or abilities and stuff like that. Where it's like when you're dealing with a property of superhero type stuff, they all have a stat. Like Hulk can't get more powers than he already has. You know what I mean? Like, and the same thing with like Harley Quinn. What powers is she gonna get? You know what I mean? Like that's I don't mean to shit on it just because I'm just saying.
Yeah, the precedent of what we've seen is I understand for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing with mixed hero games instead of like games where you play just one character is that the power levels have to be roughly equivalent. With characters that the power level is definitely not. Captain America and Hulk, just by their very natures, have to solve problems completely differently.
Yeah, exactly.
But in a game like that, they have to basically be the same character, and they're just not. They're not. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm really excited for Suicide Squad.
Sean, 2022. Is there a game that you kept thinking that you're on top of your list?
I mean, I guess I would say God of War, because I highly doubt it's coming out this year.
Okay.
And the first God of War, well, I say the reboot of God of War in 2018 was fucking awesome. And I never cared about God of War prior to that game. I don't like hack and slash type games where you just button mash a bunch of combos until you enemies are dead. I like there to be a little more thought into my combat, as you know, even if it's melee. And God of War did that. It did feel very similar to Souls games in like you have to play smart. You can't just be aggressive. You have to like know when to deflect with your shield and know when to use your throw the axe or use the blades of chaos and all that stuff. So it's like I like that, and the story was fucking phenomenal. The presentation was phenomenal. The only reason why I'm a little hesitant is because I don't trust that it's just going to be a PS5 only game. I think there's still a chance.
PS4.
Yeah, on PS4, and that I'm sorry, that just bums me out. Cross-gen games suck.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Hence Cyberpunk. Everyone can get that bad taste out of their mouths. Tim, is there 2022?
There's a pretty good chance that James Bond, the iOS 007 game, will come out then. They announced it late last year, and I don't know, they've probably been working on it for a while, and now they can really commit to it full bore. So there's a chance it'll come out late 2022, in which case definitely that.
No, I'm so excited, man. We haven't had a good James Bond game since
long time.
I played Nightfire a lot as a kid.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I liked the one that came out on the 360 with Daniel Craig. I forget what it was called. It was Quantum of Solace.
I was going to say, I think it's the Quantum of Solace title.
Yeah, I thought that, I mean, it wasn't a great game, but I thought it was a solid, 6-hour, 7-hour campaign. I had fun with that game.
Yeah, and I actually really liked they did one that was pretty much just a straight shooter. There was the remake of GoldenEye on the Wii. Yeah, I actually thought it was a pretty good Wii shooter, light gun game, essentially. But I mean, IO's the Glacier engine is so perfect for a James Bond style situation, and their aesthetic that they developed with this World of Assassination trilogy, I think, is going to pair really well onto James Bond. It's going to be a little different, obviously. It's probably still going to be a stealth game, but Agent 47 just has different conflicts and different solutions.
Yep.
In a lot of ways. I mean, James Bond obviously still has the license to kill, so they're going to get to do what they do best in that regard. But I'm going to say that for 2022. Assuming it comes out then. I could see it coming out like first half of 2023. But IO seems to be on a pretty tight 2 to 3 year turnover. So...
No, I don't think they've put anything out since Tomb Raider.
Who?
IO?
IO's? No. IO's doing Hitman. IO's Interactive is Hitman.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Did they do any of the Tomb Raider games?
No.
Okay, I'm thinking of IDOS, right?
IDOS,
that's what. Okay,
who used to own IO before Square Enix bought it.
That makes sense. I think for me, 2022, it's a tough one because you kind of have to dream a little bit, but you want to have some sort of expectation. I think for me, it's either, oh man, I'm blanking. I had it. I literally was thinking about it, and then we talked about that topic, and I totally blanked on what I was going to say. Oh, there we go. I might be a little optimistic, but man, I want to see that Fable game. God, I want to see that next gen Fable.
I think you should have saved that for the next
I know. I was humming and hawing 2022, 2023. I have a different game for 2023. But I'm going to be optimistic here and say we're going to get more trailers this year, and they're going to announce 2022 release date. Because man, they haven't done anything since Forza Horizon 4, and that was 2 years ago, I want to say. So that's a 4-year development cycle. I'd say it's pretty long time. And you like, yeah, I'm gonna go with it anyway. I'm gonna still say Fable because man, like we haven't had a good, as an Xbox guy, we haven't had a good action adventure exclusive or on our. I would say since I did that Tomb Raider deal, where where it was the year exclusive. But yeah, like man, I loved Fable 2 so much. I thought it was so ahead of its time with the system and how your actions made you change your look and how people, the AI and everyone in the world would react to you. I thought that was such amazing tech as a kid. It was the whole point of I would replay the game and I would literally just be good. And then I would go back and be like, you know what? I'm going to be bad this time around. And then you could play in the middle and you could get a whole, different set of skills and stuff. Like there were so many different ways to play the game. And for a linear, it was semi-open world, but for a game like that was, there wasn't a whole ton of content. It was no Elder Scrolls or anything like that, but it was fairly deep mechanically and fairly deep, like systems in terms of RPG. I would say it was more of an RPG light, but no, for sure. Fable for me. All right. So now we get to be a little creative. None of these games that we might talk about might not even have a chance to coming out or might not even be announced or might not even be real games. But I want to see what we have the potential to see in 2023 and beyond. So Sean, I'll go to you first. What's something that you hope could come out or get released that far out?
Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
I think that has a good chance of coming out in 2023. Considering Machine Games has probably been working on this for a while, and when did New Colossus come? Well, they technically put out Youngblood last year. Yeah. Was it last year? So I mean,
I still haven't played that.
You can skip it. It sucks. The story's good. Just watch the cutscenes. And I don't think that was even their main team. I think their main team hasn't been working on anything since the New Colossus, and that was 2018.
Yeah.
So I think that game's been at least in pre-production for a while. So I think that's the game I'm most looking forward to. Unless it's first person, then I'm going to be want, and then I'll shift over and say that Ubisoft massive Star Wars game. I think that as soon as that EA contract is up, they want to have Star Wars games coming out in 2023. So I think that would be since that was the first one announced, I think that has the best.
So you think they have been, you think they've already been working on this for a little bit?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. They're whether or not they had the exclusive rights to release games, but I don't think they had the exclusive rights to start making games. So I think that as soon as that contract is up, Disney does not like want to go 2 years, 3 years without another Star Wars game. You know what I mean? And one of the problems with doing it with EA was that they had one company doing it. In theory, there should have been at least 6 Star Wars games at least, and we got 4, and at least. So yeah, I think they're gonna want the ball rolling right away. So yeah, those are my 2 most anticipated as of right now. I don't like to think about games that haven't been announced.
Yeah. You look at the same time period back in the last decade, or I guess now it's 2 decades ago, and they released like 10 games, and most of which were great. Yeah. So they definitely should have been able to put more out.
Great old Star Wars games in the 2000s, early 2000s. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's some really good ones.
KOTOR, the GOAT.
Oh, yeah.
Rogue Squadron 2 on the GameCube.
I've never been a big flying guy.
I loved those Rogue Squadron games.
I never got to play those, but the Jedi Knight games.
Oh yeah, Jedi Knight 2 is still my favorite.
Oh, dude, Kyle Katarn is such a cool character.
Avery, how about for you? What is the craziest thing that you can come up with? Maybe not the craziest, but
I mean, honestly, I was gonna say the Ubisoft massive Star Wars game, just because I think I've really been enjoying Ubisoft's RPGs and open worlds and everything, whether it's The Division or Immortals or I don't know, some other third thing I'm forgetting. But with Star Wars, I think there is a lot of potential there with that property and with what, again, Massive did with Division. I really enjoyed playing that game. And so having the idea of kind of either going as a bounty hunter or just something not so much of a Jedi, just because I still think we're going to get a sequel to the Fallen Order. Yeah. And so I like to see them take a different route with that. And I think Ubisoft has that track record to make a pretty nice game there.
Now, here's a question for you. Would you rather see a Assassin's Creed style
Assassin's Creed, that's the third thing.
Yeah.
The third thing.
Would you like to see an Assassin's Creed style Jedi game, a bounty hunter game that's in the form of Splinter Cell, or a clone trooper type game where you play as an elite, kind of like Clone Commando in the style of like Rainbow Six?
Ooh. I think I'd go with the Splinter Cell bounty hunter type game there, just because like if we do get like an Assassin's Creed type Jedi game, like I don't know, that still falls too close to like Fallen Order just with the whole Jedi stuff, and you can upgrade your powers and skills and everything. Whereas like something like the Splinter Cell with the Star Wars skin on top, that would be appealing to a whole lot of people.
Yeah, I agree.
I just thought of something. I want I want From Software to make a fucking Jedi game.
That would
Then
be
you
cool.
get
There we go.
then you get real good fucking combat.
And
You're
I
like,
think
yeah.
like, where that era would be best suited is if you go back to what they're doing now and you do the High Republic era, where it's just Jedi go out on missions and stop big monsters and
it's
peace.
Oh man, this past 5 minutes, you guys have been making me hot under the collar. Oh man, a bounty hunter stealth game would. I think that would be about. Man, that would be as significant as when I met my wife. That is holy crap. That'd be cool. That'd be so dope. Oh my gosh.
Well, while you're excited here, Tim, let me go to you next. What's your game of choice here?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I gotta calm down to that idea. That's so cool, man. Anyway, yeah. So I was probably gonna say the Star Wars thing from Ubisoft. I'm hot and cold on their open worlds, but I like the idea of a game that's like almost like a massive single map Star Wars Battlefront that just kind of never ends.
Kind of like a PlanetSide? PlanetSide 2?
I've never played those games, but like the Division 2, where it's just like there's constantly people running around, there's constant combat going on. And it's just, like some you can create a reason for that. Again, I think Coruscant would be an ideal setting for something like that. But Avery already said it, so I'm going to say a game that I'm not convinced is an actual video game that's also coming from Ubisoft, and that is Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Good choice.
I don't know if that's an actual video game. I think that was a trailer because they didn't have a lot to announce at E3 and they wanted to zhuzh up their show. Especially the development method. They said like how they were essentially going to crowdsource the assets. I don't know. That's just that's.
I think that was all background stuff, like banners and like stuff like music, and I don't think it was ever going to be anything that was integral to the game itself.
I certainly hope not. It seemed very wishful thinking when they announced it.
And the original came out like
2002.
Yeah, I was going to say more than 15 years now.
The original Beyond Good and Evil is probably, I'd say it's definitely one of the three most significant video game experiences I had as a child. That game came out, I think I was 9 years old.
I'm so old.
And I played it on my big brother's Xbox, and it was almost an out of body experience. There was something about it that just really connected with me. The tone, it was kind of melancholic, and I was kind of a melancholic kid. I mean that game is very special to me, and means a lot, and I love that story. And I remember when I finished it, I was like, man, when are they going to make the next one? Because I want to.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I want, Jade, I think, is a cool character. I like the idea of like this world where like humans and these animals that kind of coexist, and it's not really explained why, and like a sentient animal.
I always like games that do that, where you don't really have to explain. It just is.
It was just so good, and like it had such variety, and the stealth was really fun. That was a stealth game too, maybe one of the first stealth games I ever played, and I just loved it. And so the idea of a sequel is incredibly intriguing to me. I don't know if what they showed at E3 is an actual thing or not, but I mean, if it is, 2023 is probably the soonest we're going to see it.
Yeah, it's been in development for a long time. But speaking of games that have been in development for a long time, my choice would be Starfield. I think that's when you're going to see it.
Yeah, I almost said that too.
Yeah, I think this is
Bethesda's. I think that game's coming sooner than that.
You think? You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't see it, but we'll see. I hope so. I'm here for it.
The Microsoft money might be a shot in the arm.
Yeah,
to get them
that's
across
true.
The line.
That's true. But yeah, I'm just excited for Bethesda to Softworks, but the game studio, to do something that's not Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Because I think that team has a lot more creativity when it comes to art styles and locations and lore than it does, gameplay. And that's not a knock against it. It just is what it is. But yeah, I think they could do. This is my hot take. I think that they can do in Starfield what the original Mass Effect did for for when it came out. I think they have that kind of creative team on that when it comes to making a world and making lore, because Elder Scrolls is so deep with lore and backstory and there's always a story to tell in that universe. It's the same with Fallout. There's always a story to tell in that universe. And I just think kind of wiping that slate clean and allowing, what is essentially a newer team. Obviously, a lot of these guys probably didn't make the original Fallouts or even Fallout 3 or Elder Scrolls 3. But yeah, just giving them a clean slate where they don't have to abide by the lore that was written, 15, 20 years ago, I think is going to be really good for that studio. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed our little peek of what may or may not come within the next 3 years. Bit of a shorter show this week, but not a ton of news, but hopefully next week we get a couple nice teases, because guess what? It's 2021 and the games are going to start rolling in, and the game announcements are going to start rolling in. Tim, I'll start with you. Anything you want to plug? What are you getting up to?
I'm going to be working on the Hitman 3 review for the site. Pretty excited about that. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's going to be my focus for the next few weeks.
Awesome. Excited to read it. Avery, anything?
No, just playing through some backlog stuff. Find me on Twitter at coffeeblock_910. But yeah, just going through some old backlog games.
Always a good time for it. That early January, and then it possibly into February, because all these games keep getting delayed. So not a ton coming out right now other than Hitman. Sean, how about you?
I am not gaming related. I really like movies, so I'm guesting on a movie podcast this Sunday. That's going to be edited and put out next month, but it's called Dead Last. So basically we rank horror movies in with a theme. Last time I was on, we did George Romero's dead movies plus a couple of remakes. This time we're doing this thing called One Hit Wonders, which I don't know where they're getting the word hit from, because these are all movies that bombed, and we only got one of them, and it's been hell. I've watched 9 movies. I've liked exactly one of them. And so and I have one more to watch, and that's Slender Man, and I'm going to watch that tonight, and I'm hating my life. So that's going to be what I do next. And then I think for the site, I'm going to throw together, I'm going to rank From Software and from the Soulsborne games, Sekiro games, just because I feel I'm in the mood. I want to write about it.
Yep.
With just beating Demon Souls and getting platinum and stuff. So I think I'm going to put that up on the site in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Excited to see your thoughts on all of those games because I know there's quite
Spoiler
a few.
alert: Bloodborne's number one.
And for myself, yeah, I'm playing through Gears Tactics right now. Still, I think I'm closing in on the end. I'm really enjoying it. Haven't really played a strategy game in a long time. And other than that, you can follow me on Twitter at hoopstar245. And for Avery, Sean, Tim, and myself, this has been the Lock On Podcast, episode number 12, and we will see you all next time.